Today on CJ's Knits, we use the KH230 for rolled ribbing.
Okay, we're going to knit a few rows, and then we will look at a mock rib. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Bring forward every other needle into position one by one, but 2 needles on the right edge. Knit several rows of waste yarn and continually knit 1 row with cast on thread. For casting on with bound edge, knit 3 rows with the garment yarn. At this time TD is 4, so tension dial is at 4, number lower than main tension. With the transfer tool, pick up the first sinker loop yarn and transfer to the edge needle. Bring forward the needles to a position which are non-working position to position B. Knit the plain knitting by rows you want. Well, that is neat. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to try this, because it makes no sense to me. I'm going to cheat a little bit though. I'm going to just transfer stitches over, knit a couple rows, and then we'll do the cast on thread method. Okay, so hang on, I'll get it all set up. Okay, so I have set this up to look just like this photo here. So now I'm going to put in a contrast color, and then we will start doing what it just said to do. Scary. Okay, contrast color, here we go. Staying there. Of course. So here I have that ravel cord that I despise. Okay. I'm going to hold on to it until it catches. That's just going to end poorly. See if I can't get it to stay on something. Pardon my head. Okay. Okay. Cast on thread. Now it shows all right, I'm going to switch yarn colors. Oh boy. Okay, that was a gong show. So we are 4 numbers lower. Yeah, I'm not going to do 4 numbers lower. I'm going to keep it at tension 6. Knit several rows waste yarn. Continually knit 1 row with cast on thread. Knit 3 rows with the garment yarn. Okay, well, we'll do 2 numbers. instead of 4. So 1, knit 3 rows. 1, 2, hang on, 3 rows with garment yarn. Okay. With transfer tool, pick up the first sinker loop. First sinker loop. Okay. Oh. No. First sinker loop. Yeah. Okay, so this goes up here. Wait, I accidentally grabbed the wrong one. Okay, so you got that first loop and you hang it on that first stitch. Okay. Which are non. Pick up the first sinker loop yarn and transfer to the edge needle. Bring forward the needles to A position. The needles in A position to B position. So now we bring all of these up to working position. Okay. And then we knit the rows you want to rib 2 numbers higher than casting iron. So we're going to leave it at 4. So 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. Okay, so what it says, if I'm reading this right, is that now we pick up that bottom stitch and we bring it up to that first ladder, and then we latch tool. So this would be a really cool way of getting a rounded edge. So I'm going to demonstrate that one more time. I'm going to grab this first stitch, and then we're going to grab that bottom row, cool beans. Okay, I'm going to finish this off camera and then we'll come back and take a look. Check that. We're actually going to show you a little bit closer. So I'm grabbing that first ladder, dropping the middle one here, and then I'm grabbing the first ladder that we had where the needles were brought forward. And that is how this is done. Okay. Mind blown. All right, I'm going to finish this up and then we'll get into the other part of the book. All right, so I think it's rather humorous that on page 40 it's telling you how to make a really fancy rib, But page 41, they talk about the waist knitting. But we just did that when we did our rib. So, there's really not much more I can talk about with this one. So I will knit a few more rows, take this off, and then we're going to take a look at everything that we did. Okay, so let's look at our increases and our decreases and our little bit of hand-tooled ribbing. And let's look at it from the front. We have our little bit of ribbing there. We have our moved over stitch. We have our increase and our decrease. On this side, we have our decreases and our increases. I know that they're really hard to see. Here we have that cable that we did. And even though we had a little weird side drops, you can see where it's supposed to be 3, but it's not. It's only 2. Sorry about that. And then we have where I set up for the mock ribbing. And then we have this extremely bright green with this really unique rolled edge. Now, when I did the rolled edge, I used waist knitting. So, what you get to do with this ravel cord is you get it tangled up in all your work, and then you go to the very end of this knitting, pull the long end, and it disconnects. And then you have your garment ribbing and your waist knitting. Now the waist knitting you get to rewind and reuse over and over and over to make more projects. I think that's pretty straightforward, pretty normal. I am not going into the changing needles part of the manual because that's pretty straightforward. You take out the sponge bar and you remove the needle. Do not lop off the head of the needle, just work it out. And then you put in a new needle. Picking up drop stitches, that's already been covered when we did the ribbing. But if you need to reverse it, then you need to do some gymnastics to go in behind and re-knit it. Jamming of the carriage, that one's pretty straightforward. We're not going to worry about that. It says knitting by using the knit leader. Well, again, I don't have those brackets anymore, so I can't demonstrate the knit leader. But what we can demonstrate is how to make a tension swatch. So in tomorrow's episode, we will go into making a tension swatch using the KH230. And we are going to take that tension swatch and I'm going to make a knit along for you all on how to make a sweater using your KH230 without using a ribber.
So tomorrow we knit a tension swatch using our KH230.